Dom, uh, are you feeling predatory? That's what.
You know, these days, predator is not the word you want to be
No, I
throwing
know. I
around.
know. It's a real bad word. Well, he's a predator.
I keep, I do research on these movies, so I'm
Yeah.
Googling Predator. I'm like, oh
Yeah.
my God.
Yeah. Yeah. Really. Yeah. Next thing you know, the FBI is showing up at your door.
Or they're
So,
hiring you. I guess.
yeah. But, but anyway, yeah. What we're doing, we're not predators. What we're doing is we're reviewing and talking about a movie that we just saw last week. Dom's pick. This is Predator Badlands, and Dom, it's your pick, and why don't you give the intro?
It is my pick. Normally we're verbally shilling for Tubi, but today it is Hulu. So this
Yeah,
is one of the Hulu's new releases. It's actually doing incredibly well. This is one of the most watched movies on Hulu. I mean, might be to date the most watched movie.
well, I didn't even realize it because I wasn't that aware of this movie until you picked it. But and not to interrupt your introduction, but I was just gonna say, I apparently it was released for streaming first, and then because
I
people,
don't know that.
well, people were
It wouldn't
saying,
surprise me.
yeah, people were saying that there's been so much enthusiasm for it that they said they made a mistake by and I guess it was Hulu and Disney, but
Yeah.
they made a mistake by doing that. But keep going. I didn't mean to interrupt you. I just
So,
wanted to.
so this is our probably one of the newest movies we're going to talk about. It came out just last year, 2025. The latest in the Predator franchise, and we're talking like this is the sixth or seventh film, not counting any of the Alien tie-ins.
Yeah,
Um, but we see the Predator for the first time in Predator Badlands as the protagonist, as the hero. The audience is rooting for the Predator, unlike all the previous movies where the Predator was the monster, the big bad to be defeated or escaped from. Here we follow the Predator Deck, who is basically the runt of the litter of his family. And his father actually wants to kill him because he says weakness must be culled.
right.
And so, in order to prove himself, he goes to this planet to hunt the baddest of the bad creatures to bring home as a trophy and prove himself to his family.
And instead,
Um,
he gets a girlfriend.
is Instead, he gets a girlfriend. The whole thing, as you might well think, is a disaster from the get-go. And basically the predator deck in this case needs to find himself and reinvent himself and how he views hunting to actually ultimately become triumphant in the movie. It's a decent movie, doesn't throw a lot of curveballs. It's pretty much straight ahead, not really complex, slightly Disney-fied, but
Oh, definitely Disney
otherwise
fied.
a decent movie.
Yeah, I would say my biggest problem with this. I did enjoy this. I did like this movie. But my biggest problem, I think, with this movie is it was a really nice different take, and so I kind of enjoyed that part of it. But he definitely isn't your mine or your daddy's or whatever predator. He's certainly not the predator that we know and
No,
love.
right.
He's not the badass guy. I mean, he is a badass, but he's not the stone cold killer that we know as what Predator is. And
Hmm.
so my biggest problem, I think, is kindness is wonderful when it's displayed towards your fellow man, but I'm not sure a kind predator is it really works in the long haul
A
for
kind Yautja.
yeah, yes. So that's that I think that's my biggest problem is um if this is going to continue, I think it's going to lose people. It certainly probably would lose me in the long haul.
And
But
I can almost guarantee this is going to get a sequel.
yeah, yeah, and I honestly, I did like this. I did like this entry in the franchise, and I would watch this again, especially with this particular character. Um, at the same time, I still want to see whether or not they're having him getting hunted by other predators, um, which might not be a bad plot choice. But but yeah, like I said, I just don't see he's not the normal predator. He that's why he doesn't even fit in when he goes back to kind of prove himself. He doesn't fit in. You know, it does. It's he's not what they want in their society. That's not what they respect. It's not what they're looking for. So that's I think that's my big problem.
I was talking to someone else just a few days ago about this.
Sure.
One of the issues when you've got a franchise that has grown this big, when you keep heaping lore upon lore upon lore on a franchise, you can't help but humanize it. And
Yeah.
I emphasize that word because this is a piece of art created by humans. I don't care how alien you want to make it, just intrinsic to human creativity, we're going to see things through human eyes. And so this alien is going to just morph into something that is ultimately human.
Well, it's let's put it that well, yeah, but that's in our eyes. That's not in a predator's eyes.
Right. I'm saying as a
Yes.
movie watcher,
Right.
that
But
alien is going to
right, because
become less alien over
well,
time.
let's do an analogy of Happy Days. When the longer a series is on
Mhm.
TV, the more the actors who are playing a certain character, they start putting their input in on who
Yes.
the character is, which is humanizing the character. They
Hmm.
want their character to be seen and portrayed, and usually they want their character to be portrayed in a better light. Um, you certainly saw that with all the different Happy Days characters, and that's
Fonzie
the
was supposed to be a minor character.
but that yeah, but that's and when became this, it was there was a point there when he jumped the shark.
Hmm.
And but the show had already lost me years before that because it was too much. Hey, the Fonz, and you see that with so many different TV shows where the character takes over and humanizes it. So that's my big worry with Predator. Would be you could have a guy like this and have him be a part of what the franchise is, but he is not what we know as the Predator. And I would worry that he would ruin if they all started turning like this. Um,
I don't think they will though, because you can see how his character grows over the course of the movie. That's what a character does. It develops over the course of the movie, and his growth specifically is learning to work with others, learning to work as a unit. And I don't think any other, he was so resistant to that at first. I don't think any other predator would do it unless forced into it like he was.
right. Well, all I can say is, what's the expression about hard times create strong men and good times create weak men?
Mm.
And that's, I think, the not that the Predators were necessarily having,
Yeah,
yeah,
I'm like, I'm not sure he was having a good time.
but no, but I'm just saying, I just, like I said, I think what we really love about Predator is how stone cold, hard ass the guy is.
Right.
He's a hunter and he hunts his prey without mercy.
What
Um,
when
he's just got no
the
mercy.
predator stops being the monster, like where
Yeah,
do you go?
yeah, that's that. So that's my only issue. And when it comes to, I mean, look at this scene here. She's putting her hand out and she's being gentle with the, you know, and it's like all of a sudden it turns into it's a love story. you know, and and it's like it, she, her perspective grew on him, and so he became a different being. So I'm not knocking it in the sense that I truly enjoyed this movie.
It was it's not a great movie by any stretch of the imagination. Is it an enjoyable piece of entertainment? It is.
Yeah, it is. It is, and for what this movie is, I have to say I enjoyed it. I don't know how many of these ones I could take in a new, kinder, gentler Predator. However, I enjoyed this one, and I thought, is it Elle Fanning? I mix up my
I want to
Fanning.
say Ellie, but I'm not sure either.
Yeah, I always called her Elle, but it could be Elle, could be Ellie. It's not Dakota, her sister, I don't think. So it's but I do mix them up. So and I'm sorry to Elle, Dakota, whichever. I'm sure it's Elle, but but wonderful job. She looked very robotic. Some of the scenes she was actually and she played two parts too. Um,
Do you
and she
know
was
that
scary
a
in
lot of the
some places.
effects, a
What's
lot of the
that?
effects were real. They were her.
Really? Yeah, because
Ellie Fanning is both double jointed in
really,
in her elbows and I think her knees as well. So
wow.
she freaked a lot of the other people on set out by the things she could do with her body.
Well, I'll tell you what, she freaked me in a few different places because some of the times when you see her, you're thinking to yourself, holy crap. I mean, when she was doing this with the eyes, and I'm sure that was contact lenses or something, but still, the expressions that she would put on her face,
Mhm, mhm.
she was very believable
She, she
as,
she's she's
yeah.
very proud that she can keep her eyes open for a scarily
Oh,
long time.
well, I'll tell you what, that's a talent. I was actually watching a movie this past week, and there was a character that was supposed to be dead, and the character's laying on a floor, and people are like around the character, and you could see her, and she was doing a good job of keeping her eyes open, but you could see her eyelids, and she's supposed to be dead, and her eyelids are like twitching because she was having such a hard time trying to. So that's a talent. Um,
Hmm hmm
I will absolutely give her credit for that. And like I said, she had me convinced she was an android. I mean,
Yeah, she did a great job. So one of my other problems with this movie is she was just too talkative at first. Yeah,
yeah, at first,
I know they're playing it for comic relief,
yeah.
but it gets on your nerves.
Um, it didn't really bother me that much. I actually I kind of liked the humor that was it, which again, that's another reason why there's hey, the first Predator had some humor in it. Um, however, it was a different type of humor, but but still, this was, and that's where when you say you could see Disney's mark on this, you could, and it's not
Well, I mean,
necessarily.
the core story here is family.
Hmm. Yeah, yes, it is. Actually, it's that you feel this guy's pain, the Predator's pain.
Yes.
First of all, he loses his brother who's trying to protect him,
Sees
and
him
his
murdered in front of him.
so probably the father had a weak gene in him or something because he had two sons, one who's a runt and the other one who has too much feeling. He actually tried to save, and he did save his brother on more than one occasion, and he couldn't kill his brother, which he was supposed to
Hmm
do, which is why the father ends up killing the other brother, because he showed kindness to his brother. But
Yeah, this predator is from an abusive home.
he really was. It was a yeah, yeah. Talk about a dysfunctional, yeah, abusive home. So you have to say the father was maybe something of a predator, but but no, like I said, it's definitely different. If you're expecting the predator of old, you're going to be disappointed. Once I kind of realized where this was going, I think I ended up liking it more than I started out thinking, oh, this is going to be weak, and
Yep.
and I it kind of was losing me at first, but once I started figuring out where what direction it was headed in, I started enjoying the ride. And so again, like I said, I don't know how many more they can pull off with this type, but I wouldn't mind seeing a sequel. If they do a sequel with the same character, and I actually wouldn't mind having, you know, Al Fanning back as the android, because I thought they were a great team.
Mhm.
Um,
Mhm.
they and
Well,
I
I
like
mean,
the
with this movie ending with the arrival of the mother, you
yes.
know that's a second movie. You
Oh
know
yeah. Well, and I'll tell you what, um, I bet she's a worse badass than the father was.
it. Hmm.
Um, there's a uh, what's the I think it's a yeah, it's a Rudyard Kipling poem about Afghanistan, and it's a poem about a soldier, and it's when you're wounded and dying on plane, um, Afghanistan's planes, just roll to your rifle and blow out your brains, because they're talking about the when the woman come out to cut up what remains. It's like you have no choice but to roll to your rifle and blow out your brains, because it's what they're going to do to you is worse than what the what the men are going to do.
Hmm.
So, like I said, I have a feeling the mother is going to be a real a real mother. I think she's going to be a real badass, which may be a real fun um, take on it, and maybe like a cool, a cool twist to the story. So, but I hope they have her like be a real badass, because I think that would make the for a fun movie, you know.
Now,
So
one of the things about this movie is as this franchise goes on, these movies, and I'm going to draw the Alien franchise in on this as well,
yes,
because, well, this movie drew the Alien franchise in with
yeah,
Weyland-Yutani. There's so much of this movie that is made for the mega fan that a casual viewer will completely miss.
right,
And
right.
so the involvement of Weyland-Yutani, there are videos on YouTube right now where they break down like screenshots, like a frame by frame review of the
Wow,
movie, and
wow.
they'll point out all the Easter eggs, which again,
Huh.
if you're a casual viewer, all the energy put into this is wasted.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. Uh, I don't know. Like I said, I I I look at this as um, it's definitely it's definitely a different take on everything. And
Hmm.
from the old movies that we know and love of Predator.
Hmm.
Um, but hey, it still has a Predator, and it still has some pretty violent fighting going on in it too.
Hmm.
Just the fighting that was going on. I love that last fight when he comes in to and he actually comes in to rescue her. Um,
No, that's not the last fight.
that's true. The yeah, I don't
But
know if
you're right. The rescue operation I thought was great.
yeah, that's true. The very last fight is actually him and Daddy.
Yep.
Uh,
Yep.
so, but which I don't know. I don't want to totally give it away that he kills his father, but
We're spoiler alert.
yeah, yeah, we are spoiler alert. So, um, and so yes, there are some loving, touching scenes like this one here where she's uh,
Now,
feeding the feeding the creature.
one of the disappointing things from my point of view was they've got Weyland-Yutani in it. They've got these AI automatons in it.
Yes.
I wish they had pulled in some of Alien Earth. I don't know if you've seen that series. I believe it's FX.
No, I honestly haven't.
I love the series. I thought it was great. I think they
Yep.
really moved the lore in a in a great direction. But one
Huh.
of the things that was core to Alien Earth is Weyland-Yutani had harvested a bunch of alien creatures to bring back to Earth to study, and they were some of the coolest creatures
Huh.
you'd ever want to see. And I wish we had seen some of those specific creatures
Yeah.
in this movie.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, I can't really speak to it because I'm not familiar
Right.
with the series, but and actually it's something I'll probably have to check out. Um, I mean, anything to do with Alien, anything to do with Predator, I have always enjoyed.
Does
Although,
that,
yeah, go ahead.
I was going to say, does that include Prometheus?
I liked Prometheus
I did too.
because I was gonna say if you're looking for criticism, no, I actually I truly liked it, and actually like I didn't really see there were scenes in that were actually chilling. I thought freaky, chilling scenes.
You
I
wanted more. I get like you've opened this can of worms and you're giving us like just crumbs,
yeah,
but I liked it. I liked the
I
direction they
did.
were going in.
Well, it was an origin story too. I mean, it was
Mhm.
there was a whole thing going on there that I actually, like I said, I thought was great. And no, there were so many, even at the start, that early scene with the guy landing and the primordial mist. It was, I just thought it was kind of cool the way it
And
was.
the only reason I bring that up is because I keep hearing people online constantly complain about that movie.
Man, I was not disappointed at all. I saw that and I thought, wow, this is actually pretty damn cool. I thought I really I don't see the complaint. I
Well, then
really don't.
what were you going to be disappointed in? What were you going to say?
Um, I actually lost my train of thought now, but because
Sorry about that.
no, that's okay. No, I was gonna say something totally different, but no, it was not that at all. You actually threw me when you brought that one up because I was like, oh, I know, I do know what I was gonna say. I'll tell you the one that I wasn't as enthusiastic about, and that was when they did Alien versus Predator.
I don't know how they screwed that up. Like, you've got two phenomenal sci-fi
Yeah,
franchises.
yeah,
The audience wants this. They want to
yeah.
see it, and you make two horrible, horrible movies.
Well, I honestly think that it was almost like two nerds having a conversation. Wouldn't it be cool if those two fought each other? And they just thought, well, that's the whole deal. And it's like you got to put a little bit more into it than just that. It's like you can go into it with a great idea, but you got to flesh that out and have it really be make it still be. You know, I always thought that red dot that Predator and the original Predator, that three dot red dot was just so cool.
It
And
was
I
a
thought,
great idea.
man, yeah. So and again, like we're gonna have to do Predator, the original
Oh
Predator,
yeah, we are.
because
We are. And the only reason I chose this one first is because
I'm glad you did, Dom.
I'm like, good job, Hulu. You were hammering us so hard with ads for Badlands. I'm like, okay, I got to
yeah.
see it.
Well, honestly, I hadn't seen it. I wasn't that even aware of it. I mean, I was like, I heard it, but I thought it's probably not going to be that hot. I'm really glad I got a chance to take a look at it, and I enjoyed it. And like I said, it's a different movie. I think you'd be remiss in not telling people that you're seeing a different movie. It's not the same Predator, but
It's a very different flavor.
it is definitely a different flavor, but at the same time, well, it's a cool ride. Um,
Now,
I
did you
definitely
watch Prey?
which
The Predator movie set in like the American West, turn of the century with Indians.
no, I know of that, but I no, I never saw that.
It's not
Um,
bad.
is it? Is it? Yeah, I'll have to check. I'll have to check that out
Again,
too.
nothing beats Predator. the original Arnold Schwarzenegger Predator, it was just so good. It launched the franchise, but every franchise has been just a little bit more watered down. Every movie a bit more watered down.
Yeah. Well, I loved the cast of characters that are in that too. You've got Jesse Ventura, you've got all these different like
Carl
badass.
Weathers,
He was so good in that. The cigar smoking between him and Schwarzenegger,
what,
the
the
whole
CIA got you pushing pencils too
oh
much?
my God, the whole ride in on the chopper. It's just incredible. It's
No, that was a really well done movie.
Schwarzenegger covered himself in mud. I mean, there was so many cool things in that movie. I totally, and this creature behind me, by the way, I actually thought that creature was cool.
Oh
And
yeah, the
I,
Calisk.
yes, yes, I forgot the name. I'm glad you remembered. But no, that I thought that was actually pretty
I
good.
thought the creature was cool, and I thought the reveal that Bud was the
Yeah,
same species but just young. I thought that was a great idea.
it was a great idea. And the other thing is, she knew it, but but the predator dude had no idea and when she kind of like says, yeah, that's who that is, that's his mother. It's
Well,
like,
as soon as that creature spit on him,
yes.
I knew. As
I
soon as it spit and she said he's marking you as family, I'm like, okay, now I know.
Dude, I didn't get it, and but I thought it was hilarious that it spit on him, and he's just like, it spit on me. It's like, no, it was hilarious, and the humor that was in this worked, and I definitely get it's you when you said that you can really see Disney's mark on this. You're dead right because
Oh yeah, I'm watching this, and Disney just flows through the screen.
oh yeah, yeah, it does, and luckily not in too much of a Disney has ruined so many movies that
Oh my
could have been
God.
good, um, just because they don't know what they're doing half the time
Well,
anymore.
they know what they're doing, but what they're trying to do is not make good movies.
Well, yeah, and it's not, and they don't understand what the public wants anymore. But at the same time, for this particular movie, I think it worked. I think everything they did pretty much worked. It was, there were a few missteps, but I liked it. I liked what direction that they took it in. I don't think it's sustainable for that to be the main Predator character. However, for what this one was, this worked, and because of that, I'm just giving it praise. That's all I can say. And
Did you
She freaked me out.
did you see the movie? I think it was Predators.
Okay.
The movie
Um,
where a bunch of basically mankind warriors, mercenaries, battle-hardened fighters, they are abducted and taken to a planet for other predators to hunt.
okay. I heard of that one, but I never saw it, and I
It,
know
it's not
very
great.
little. Yeah.
It,
Yeah.
it's 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 not that much worse than this one. It's,
Right.
again, it's a watch.
Yeah.
But it's really not that great for the franchise.
But it's worth a look.
I mean, if you're really into Predator, it's worth. I mean, it's a sci-fi. It's got action. I- I'll point out, like this. This doesn't have much more going on. A movie doesn't have to. It can still be just pure mindless entertainment.
Yeah.
Um, but I do like something a little more depth to my movie.
Yeah. Well, one of the things you brought up with this, just back to this, the early part of this with her, um, you were saying she's too talkative and kind of annoying. Um, she was, but at the same time, I also think it was kind of funny because she kind of evolves in this. She starts out like she's totally looking at what was the other chick with Tessa? What was her name?
You're Thea.
Okay. Um, she was looking at her. She kept calling her, "Oh, we're sisters," and she had this whole thing that, "Oh yeah, we're buddies, we're sisters," and then of course she realizes like, no, that's not what's going on here. But just her, she's an android, and she's like she's kind of a naive android that hasn't figured a lot of shit out. And by the end of the movie, that's who you see, and
Hmm.
she's totally changed. And she's like, "Yeah, I'm gonna kill this bitch."
And
Um,
I do agree that the almost bubbly, talkative android that she was at the start is almost necessary to juxtapose to Thea, the cold, calculated killing machine.
yes, and also the other thing about it that made it work was the fact that he didn't want to deal with anybody else. He
Hmm.
was just going to do this on his own. And then she convinces him because she needs help. So she convinces him, well, if you help me out, and what was the term she was using?
Like a
Um,
tool.
yeah, tool. And he kept saying to her, "No, you're a tool." And he kept calling her tool. And this point here where he's holding her up, and he's like, "Yeah, you're my tool." And and then the other thing is, I thought it was hilarious when he strapped her on his back, because it actually reminded me a lot of the Alien one with the
Yes,
big. That reminded me a lot of that.
that was part of the Easter egg. They did a bunch of scenes that were almost identical to scenes from earlier movies.
Well, I'll tell you what, her being on his back like that, to me, that was one of the most hilarious things in what it was Alien 4. The
That was
the one with
Alien
Winona.
Cubed, Alien
Yeah,
Resurrection. I don't know what you
yeah.
would call it.
It was, but that climbing up the ladder with the alien coming up the ladder behind him, and he's like, "Go faster! You need to go faster."
That was a great scene. I actually that's another movie that gets a lot of grief
Yeah,
online, and I love that movie.
I do too. I see. That was one, and I've heard what you're saying. There's a lot of people that bitched about that movie, and I was like, it was 10 times better than Alien 3.
It really was. I can't believe it because Alien 3, I forgot the director, but didn't it have like a really good director?
You did, and I don't know who it was now, but all I can say is, like, plus, like, at the time that show The Rock was on, or Rock. And I can't think of the actor's name, but I actually thought he was great on that show. And I thought, well, cool, he's going to be in the movie. And they still screwed up the movie so bad. Um, Everything about that was just, to me, it was so boring compared to all.
Agreed.
Oh my God, all the other Alien movies were better than that. It was like,
That movie, I was on my own. I just moved to California at the time
yeah,
when Alien 3 came to theaters. And so I was seeing, if I wanted to see a movie, I was seeing it by myself.
yeah,
And Alien 3, Alien franchise, I was so excited for a new Alien movie. I'm
yeah.
like, oh, I gotta see this. And I take myself to the theater, and it was such a disappointing movie.
Yeah, yeah. Well, and there's nothing worse than having the buildup of, you're hoping that you're going to see something really good. And hey, up until that point, one and two were both great movies. I mean, you could argue that two was actually as good as one,
You could
because,
definitely argue that they are both of those movies are, I would say, easily in the top 50 sci-fi of all time.
oh my God, I love those two movies. In fact, if you want to marathon a couple of movies, to me, it's like just putting those two movies on one
Yeah.
after the other, and man, you're gonna have a good time. It's
And
it's
then
just,
follow that up with the original Predator.
oh my
Man,
God, yes, yep. So, like I said, um, how they screwed up three, but you can't tell me, when you talk about three, you can't tell me that the one with Winona Ryder there. I can never remember the exact title of it, but whether that was four or what you would
I'm
call it.
almost positive it was Alien Resurrection.
Yeah,
The,
I think you're
the,
right.
the
Uh,
posters came out with Alien, and they had a three in a little subscript So it
Yes.
looked like Alien Cube, but I'm almost positive it was
Yeah.
Resurrection.
Yeah, I think you're right. I definitely think that was the
And
title.
you know who made that movie fun? Josh Whedon.
Oh yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. Yeah. And that, it's funny because um there's people that when you look at the Buffy series and stuff like that, people bitching about he's done a lot of good stuff, and including I didn't get into Buffy the TV series when it first came out, and that was something I kind of like just fell into later. And man, I'll tell you what, um, I actually really ended up becoming a Buffy fan. It was that series had some real dark stuff in it. But yeah, he's done a lot of good stuff.
Oh, a lot of good
So
stuff.
yeah, I'm not surprised that I like that his entry into it as well as
He
as
makes
well
things
as I
fun.
do.
I mean, he gets a lot of complaints, and I can see some of them, but he writes in a way that is very fun for an audience.
Yeah, yeah, it is. And again, that is a big, that's an adjective you could use when it comes to that particular movie. It's fun.
Mhm.
There's so much fun. There's humor, and it's not overly done humor where you're thinking, oh, they're turning this into a comedy. There was some scary shit going on in that movie.
Mhm.
So all I can say is that is to me that's a righteous entry into the Alien, and I don't care. I'll argue that point with anyone all day long if you want to argue it. But I had fun with
So
that movie.
to get back to this movie,
Yes.
I gotta talk about Deck,
Okay. Yep.
or more to the point, and I'm gonna butcher this. So my apologies in advance. Dimitrius Schuster-Kolomatangi,
Hmm.
who is the
Okay.
actor that played Deck.
Yeah. Well,
So
all I can say is that's a mouthful.
yeah, yeah.
But
So this was
yeah.
the first Predator to not be entirely practical effects. A,
Okay.
a lot of his facial expression and a lot of him as the character, as the Predator, was motion capture green screen.
I was gonna say if he can open his mouth that wide,
Yeah,
you would
yeah.
you
So
would
a lot of that was CGI.
okay.
And so, and that's the same way they got Ellie Fanning to have no legs
Oh, really? Yeah.
on the
Okay.
movie because
Yeah.
they greened out her,
Yeah, yeah, they would have had to.
which
I mean,
means
there
when
were.
he's carrying her on his back, he is carrying her whole
Oh,
body
wow,
on
wow,
his back.
wow. Well, I don't imagine. I don't think she is exactly overweight, but at the same time, there's no way. I mean, like I said, I'm not going to venture into how much she weighs, but she's got to weigh enough that's going to be quite a carry.
Evidently, Demetrius is incredibly athletic and incredibly strong and just owned his audition. He
Huh,
came, he spoke in their language.
really?
They created a Yautja language for
Yeah.
this movie.
Wow.
Again,
Wow.
just another one of those Easter eggs that unless you're an Uber fan, that's going to go totally over your head. You're just going
Yeah.
to completely miss that. Um, he spoke in their language, and they put him through an American Gladiator or American Ninja style obstacle course
Wow. Really?
to
Really?
determine that he could do some of the moves they wanted the Predator to do in this movie.
Wow. Wow.
And he passed with flying colors.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, that's a good little bit of trivia because, like I said, I had no idea about him actually carrying her. I mean, I just figured they lined them up for shots, and I figured there was green screen, but yeah.
Yeah, sure. I'm going to link to a number of videos about behind the scenes of this movie, and uh, she just went on about how much how many different devices they used to keep her on his back,
Yeah, yeah,
particularly during some of the scenes and stunts they had him doing.
yeah. No, yeah, because he's full on fighting in several of those things until she gets her. Well, I mean, there is some. She does do some, and that was one of the things that I thought was hilarious when she's on the ground and he's like, yeah, like, because she's looking for help, and he's like, and he actually at one point when she's laying on the ground there and she's calling him like, hey, Dexy, you gotta like come help me, and he actually grabs the rifle that she's and he takes off with it. He's using that as a fighting tool, and it's like, really, you're gonna just leave me here and not even give me a weapon? But yeah, there. Like I said, I think the humor was and surprisingly, the chemistry actually worked. It was and it worked for a character that you wouldn't necessarily think would have they could have pulled off a fit. Um, so again, like I said, I'm not sure how many of these I would want to see, but I definitely wouldn't mind a sequel to this.
Yeah,
So,
yeah.
and
This was
and you're right, there is going to be a sequel.
mhm,
There's got
mhm.
to be. Come on.
Well, also this made so much money. This
Oh,
I think so far the latest count is $185 million. Granted,
yeah,
that's against a $100 million budget, but
yeah,
still.
yeah. Well, they kept saying that uh, Disney had really but I think Disney's been pretty cautious because they've made a lot of bad bombs out of something that they thought they had a winner on. And it's like, you don't know your audience. You really don't. That's one of Disney's problems is they don't know when they got something good and they don't know when they got something bad. And they better,
All I can say is why they thought a live action Aladdin or Little Mermaid or any of these classic cartoons that people already love, why they think a live action is a good idea is beyond me.
well, yeah, and again, so many of the Disney got famous first for their animation. And when you make something animated that's really good and it's a classic, you better be really careful with when you start screwing with a classic. Um,
People's memories.
yeah, it's they've tried it with so many different movies, whether it's The Wizard of Oz or It's a Wonderful Life or it's like fine, you want to make a movie, uh, copying that film or make a different version, you better pull it off, and you better pull it off, and you better pay. You got to give some kind of homage to what the original one was. So, like I said, if you don't, if you're gonna, if you just people think sometimes, oh yeah, we're gonna make it the same, but completely different. And it's like, yeah, it's going to piss people off. So, like I said, it's you just got to do it right. And so, anyway, back to this one.
Back to this one.
This,
One more little piece of trivia because
yeah, I love your trivia in this one.
I can't
You've got some
stop.
great.
I am an Uber fan. I'm an Uber nerd. I'm an Uber fan, and I can't stop fanboying over these little details they put in. But if you watch the end credits of this movie, the music accompanying it is a Yautja choir. They got a
Okay.
bunch of people, including this actor,
Huh,
Dimitrius,
really?
to sing in a choir in the Yautja language.
Wow. Wow. Okay, that is cool. I didn't know. I did not know that. No,
Yeah,
that's
I will try to if anyone's still watching us, listening to us,
yeah.
has no intention of seeing this movie anytime soon, I'm going to include a link to that song, that choir.
Yeah, yeah, absolutely. Well, I love it when you put in links anyway. Um, yeah, to me that really, I don't know how many people check out the links. If you're not checking out Dom's links, Dom's very creative with what he adds.
I'm
Uh,
guessing no one looks at those
Well,
links,
I
and that's
wouldn't say
fine. I love doing it.
I wouldn't say that because I just noticed some of the comments, and we just recently had a person make some really flattering comments about what we're doing here, and talking about Hush Hush Sweet Charlotte
Oh my
and what
God,
will
they
happen.
gave such an in-depth
Yeah,
analysis. I
yeah,
love hearing things like that.
yeah. Really, honestly, I read it and I was like, wow, this is really well thought out, and it's. I mean,
It was obvious that they were every bit the movie fan that we are.
yeah, yeah, very insightful, and so and I, right now I don't have it pulled up, and I really am sorry. I'm not pulling up your name, but yeah, thank you very much. You know who you are if you're watching this one, and just the fact that they said, hey, you guys are great. Enjoy listening to you too, and got good chemistry. They were very complimentary, but also, like I said, just to add to what you said, Dom, it's their remarks were just extremely insightful and
Mhm.
well broken down about both Betty Davis and Joan Crawford and just the way the two of them blended on Baby Jane, and how the Hush Hush Sweet Charlotte was a better movie because it didn't have the two of them together, and it would have probably turned into a ham fest, and probably would have. But that,
We've said many times that we love doing this channel. We love watching movies. We love talking to each other about. We love doing this channel, and we would do it even if no one watched.
yeah,
That being said,
yeah,
it's always gratifying to know there's someone out there not just watching, but someone that loves movies to
yeah,
this degree.
yeah, yeah. Because again, we've said this from the beginning. Anybody that watches us can figure that out. But we're not professionals. We didn't go to film school. We're just movie fans,
You
and
got no
and we
book learning.
no, no, we didn't we didn't have none of that learning stuff. Um, but no, uh, it's just our true love for what movies are, and that's why we do it, and just because we enjoy talking. We're big mouths.
That too.
As Jackie Gleason said, I got a big mouth. But no, it's we enjoy talking films, and Dom's my nephew. We grew up together, like we're brothers, and we grew up watching movies together, and we just had so much fun watching it. Whether it was a comedy that we laughed our butts off, or horror movies that scared us to death, and we just had fun watching movies, and that's why we enjoy taking turns picking movies, or if somebody suggests a movie, we love throwing those out
Yep,
too.
love it.
So yeah, please please feel free to make those suggestions. We have tons of movies that we've got that we're putting on the back burner all the time. I'm actually probably going to do it for this coming week, but we do that all the time where it's like, oh man, I was going to pick this movie, but this came up or that came up. But hey, it's part of the deal. So if somebody suggests a film, we'll gladly work it into the mix. So
Mhm. So back to Predator.
yes,
This movie was written by Patrick Allison and Dan Trachtenberg. Dan Trachtenberg also directed it, but they also did the last two. So the movie Prey, I saw you had a shot up with Amber Midthunder, who
okay,
was the star of Prey.
yeah,
They did that film, and then the film just before this, the animated Predator film, Killer of Killers. At the end of Killer of Killers,
yes,
while the end credits, they show Amber Midthunder in a stasis pod.
wow.
They also show Arnold Schwarzenegger's character. They are in talks with Schwarzenegger and Amber Midthunder, and I think they are going to do another movie down the road where they bring these other people together in like they have to
Oh,
team up and survive versus other predators. I think
wow.
they're going to do another movie like that.
Wow, that's cool. Well, you know something? I mean, Schwarzenegger's on up there in years, but he looks pretty good for his age.
He looks
Um,
great for his age.
he really does. I mean, you know, of all of the different guys you see out there, you can see he's aged, but at the same time, it's like, man, um,
I hope I age that well.
well, you seriously, I know I'm not aging that well, but I'll tell you what, he looks he looks like a guy that's probably I don't know about half his age, but you know,
20 years younger.
definitely. And he seems to get around pretty damn good. So I'm sure like every older person, you have your days, but no, he would be great in another. I just love Ani. But
He is great. I think he's a great person, great actor. Has done some phenomenal movies.
actually, talking about humor, that's one of the things about Predator, the humor that was in Predator. That's why this one didn't offend me. Uh, I maybe would have been offended by what this was with the Predator being, and it's true, he didn't start out being real super kind, but he definitely softens a little bit as the movie goes along. And I could have been offended by that if it wasn't for the fact the humor worked in this, and the humor that was in the original Predator, it was very, very much in the picture. Like I said, just the helicopter ride in, and then after, even when they get into all the shit they get into, with when they realize that they're getting hunted, um, there's still tons of humor. There's a lot of funny stuff in that movie, so it works. And that's why this one, like I said, this one works also. And I
Yeah,
definitely would like to see a sequel if they're going to do it. Just don't make it stupid if you're going to
So,
do a
so,
sequel.
so we've gotten to the point where this may shock you, but despite me liking this movie, despite the praise we've heaped upon this movie,
Right.
I'm giving it 1.5 thumbs.
Really.
And
Really.
I'm taking major points off for the Disneyfication of it.
Yeah. As much as Disney has been pissing me off a lot lately, the past few years, just by the very fact that it's like, what's the line in the History of Violence when he says, "How did you fuck that up so bad?" And you could almost say that with Disney in the past few years. It's like, how do you take an organization that has made so much money and made so many good films over the years? How do you fuck up so many movies? And but I'll tell you what, I enjoyed this enough. I'm actually going to give it the two thumbs up.
Well, good,
So,
good.
yeah,
It's a worthy watch.
I when I started watching this, Dom, I was thinking to myself when I first started to see it, I was like, man, I don't know if I'm going to like this at all.
No,
And I was
same.
thinking, this could either easily be one thumb up, one thumb down,
Hmm.
and but it won me over. And so, like I said, I want to give it the two thumbs up. I'm gonna as much as I could easily criticize Disney for their missteps lately. Um, I thought this one was a worthy entry.
Yeah, I
Um,
just I think were Disney out of the picture, this would have been amazing.
yeah, yeah. Actually, if they'd kind of like kept their distance a little bit more from this, maybe actually like you know
Had
put a
something
little
a little darker.
little darker, and that for a sequel, maybe we can see something a little darker. Let's hope. Let's hope it's it's like every movie doesn't have to, and it's one of the like I love Spielberg, and Spielberg has made so many incredible movies.
Mhm.
My one criticism with Spielberg is sometimes it's just like too much of a, it's like, how many cookies are you going to feed us? The frosting on the cake is becoming sickly sweet sometimes. And that's my only problem with Spielberg sometimes is he pours that on too much.
Mhm.
But I can't, it's like, how can I really criticize a man that has made so many great movies? Spielberg is a great director, but I'm just saying sometimes too much of a good thing or a bad thing. Um, so yeah. Um, and having said all that, I think we probably said as much as we could say. And
Mike, your pick is next. Do you
it
have
is
one?
it is next. And this is another one, talking about going back and forth and which one. And I was all set to pick a certain movie. Um, and I'll actually let you know which one I'm talking about later. I don't want to spill the beans of which one that I wanted to do, but we are coming up on March. February is really over now. This is the 24th that
We
we're
still got a
recording this.
week left.
It's got a
Well, we
week
got a
left.
few days left.
It does, but um, we go back and forth on picking, and I kind of wanted this one in for St. Patty's Day.
Okay.
So this is a talking about dark. I am going to darken up. I'm going to darken it up for the next one in a different way than maybe what you would think. Um, I am picking the Banshees of Inisherin.
Okay.
Um,
I thought you were going to go Leprechaun,
no,
but
actually, I would love to go Leprechaun, but maybe you can because you're going to have something before St. If I didn't do this particular one, then I would have really kind of missed my week. It would have come out after St. Patty's Day, and I kind of wanted to do an Irish one.
Mhm.
And so the Banshees of Inisherin, it's dark. I showed this to some friends um, one one St. Patty's Day, and one of them picked up a pillow off the couch and hit me with it because the movie. It was like, really, like this is so yeah. It's like be prepared. We actually, or I own this on Voodoo, so you can probably see this in a number of different places. But anybody that has not seen this, if you're going to tune in next week um, to listen to us and you've never seen this, check it out because we are spoiler alert and we are going to spoil
We're
the
going to
hell out of this
spoil it
movie.
all.
Yeah, because this one. I would love it if you watch this movie and you say, "Why did you pick this movie?" Because I have gotten that reaction before. So, but or hey, I would hope you maybe would like it too also. So we'll see.
We'll
You
see.
know, just never know. But it's definitely dark, and it's definitely got a weird thing going on. So, I'm kind of psyched to pick this particular one. So, even though I had another one that would have been a really great pick, but that
I'm
one
still shocked you haven't done Boondock Saints yet.
I've been wanting to do Boondock Saints so bad, so
But
bad.
there's so many good movies.
I know. I believe me, Boondock Saints is a favorite of mine too. I love that movie. There's a lot of good Irish movies. So yeah, I went with this one because of the darkness of it and also it's there's a little bit of sick going on too. So so yeah. But having said all that, Dom, I think we're coming to a close. For anyone still listening to us out there, please leave a like. Nobody leaves likes. I do see every once in a while I see somebody leave a thumbs down, and it's like if you didn't like what we had to say, or if you think that we're two jerks that have nothing to say, at least make the comment about why you put a
You're not
dislike.
entirely wrong.
Because if you're, yeah, in our opinion, no. Hey, we know we're not everybody's cup of tea. Definitely, we're two weird movie dudes. So, but but I mean, it wouldn't be a bad idea just to, I mean, hey, show some courage and just put in the comments, I don't like you because, and this is why I left the thumbs down, or what you said about this particular movie was ludicrous. Tell us why you didn't like it. We can take it. We're big boys.
Yeah, yeah, and
But
we've got opinions. So do
yeah,
you? I'm
and if
sure.
yeah, and if you have opinions that differ, feel free to tell us why, why we're jerks. Um, we can take it. But anyway, I would hope that you would leave a like, but we know that not everybody's gonna. So if you leave a like, great. If you leave a dislike, great. Just maybe say why. But anyway, and if you haven't subscribed, you're missing out. We got a lot of content. So, and it's more of the same of us talking endlessly. Uh,
Endlessly.
but Dom, hey buddy, it was fun, just like it always is. I will see you next week, and hopefully we will see anyone that's still watching next week also.
Yeah, we've got a dark movie to talk about, evidently. So,
Yes, it's a good one. So, well, in my opinion. And if you don't like these movies, tell us why you don't like them too.
or tell us what ones you do want us to talk about.
Yes, again, suggestions. We'll put you on the roster. We definitely try to fit all those movies in. So, having said all that, Dom, I will see you next week, and it's been real and it's been fun.
I'll see y'all next week.
Yep, take care, guys. So long.